Let's get to our first guest, a staunch supporter of the America First movement, Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, it's been a long time, sir. I'm so glad to have you back, and I wanted to get your reaction to Liz Cheney hours before her humiliating defeat. Watch this.
This is certainly the beginning of a battle that is going to continue and is going to go on. And as a country, we're facing very challenging and difficult times. We're facing a moment where our democracy really is under attack and under threat.
So democracy is under threat because voters were poised to reject her. I think she needs to stop taking those Obama narcissism classes. What do you think, Congressman?
Look, honestly, my opinion is, bye, Liz. You know, I barely knew you, won't really miss you. Frankly, here's the issue. She was helping Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats cover up their crazy agenda, which is hurting every American, so she could be at the forefront of this vendetta or whatever with Donald Trump. It made no sense. If that was going to be her opinions, fine, that's one thing. But if you felt that it was your own personal soapbox to lead Nancy Pelosi's charge, that's why the voters of Wyoming got rid of you. Because what the voters of Wyoming do not want is somebody who's going to grandstand on the mantle that the people of Wyoming actually create. Not Liz Cheney, not anybody else. So let that be a reminder to any politician, frankly, in any party. If you want to be so bold as to stand against the will of the voters who actually sent you to Washington, you will go the way of Liz Cheney.
We're seeing voters pushing back on the government's never Trump posture, their agenda, especially over what's appearing to be an illegal, unjustified raid on Mar-a-Lago. Tomorrow, a hearing is set to unseal key documents that the DOJ refuses to release to the American public, you know, like the affidavit. If Congress were performing proper oversight, Congressman, do you think the DOJ and the FBI would be getting away with this lack of transparency?
No, they wouldn't. There would actually be hearings held because this is way past whether you are a supporter of Donald Trump or not. Let's just be perfectly clear. He is a former president of the United States. We all know that presidents of the United States actually maintain certain effects from their time in office. That is not news. That is not a surprise. What is the surprise is that the Department of Justice and the National Archives viewed this as some threat to United States security or something that had to be handled in a quick manner, so quick that the FBI and the National Archives knew that President Trump had documents for months, but only now they go on their raid. This reeks of politics. This is what the American people do not want. And the worst thing is you have Democrats who are sitting there saying, oh, we have to be supportive of the FBI. We have to support all investigations. That is crap. They only support this investigation and this raid at Mar-a-Lago because their position has not changed. And their position is we got to get Donald Trump because they can't beat him at the ballot box. So they got to try to beat him in the court of public opinion and using the Department of Justice to do it.
Now, they were saying, oh, nuclear codes, nuclear secrets. It was so urgent they waited nearly 2 years to go do it just before a midterm election. Sure. In your state, Congressman, Prosecutor Andrew Warren is suing Governor Ron DeSantis for suspending him because this leftist prosecutor refused to enforce the state's laws. Congressman, kind of back to our original conversation about Liz Cheney. I mean, here's a guy who said, oh, I got elected, so I'm going to get in and screw the people, screw the laws. I don't have to do my job. It's all about me. Don't we need to see harsh penalties for those in elected office who do not comply with our laws?
No, I totally agree. I think Governor DeSantis did the absolute right thing. That's why he's America's governor. If you are an elected official, you have a responsibility to uphold the law and to uphold the United States Constitution. It is an oath that every elected official takes. The difference is that governors have a unique power where they can remove anybody in their state from office if they are not following the law. It's just that simple. This state attorney who decided he wanted to do his own thing, that does not follow the oath he took after he won election, which is to uphold the laws of our state and to uphold the state constitution. Governor DeSantis is well within his authority to remove that person from office because the citizens of that particular state attorney's district did not know that this guy was just going to ignore the law as he saw fit. It's a dereliction of duty. People need to be held accountable for this stuff. Just because you're elected doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want. We all have to fall under
Right.
the Constitution, and we all have to uphold the rule of law.
I'm right there with you. And I think because that public trust has been given, Congressman, to people in elected office, that if you violate that trust, there ought to be severe, severe consequences for that. Not just, oh, well, I lose my job, I get to go on and go be part of a Soros think tank somewhere. Congressman Byron Donalds, thank you very much, man. I appreciate the time as always. Come back soon.